Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Maria. So, Maria, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Well, hi, everybody. Well, I am Maria Romano from Las Vegas, Nevada. So actually, I'm in the love business, Dan, and I hope your listeners out there love the love business. But actually, I officiate wedding ceremonies, and I also speak to people about finding love again, getting back in the dating world, especially those that are 50 plus, like me, plus. And also I talk about leading with love, leadership in the workplace. I have a talk about power of loving way to the top, as well as I'm an author as well. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're excited to have you on. So can you tell me a little bit more about how you got started in your career and what made you want to go down this path?
A very interesting question. So I was in the hospitality industry for many years. I was in the rental car business in Las Vegas, Nevada with my late husband, Frank, and we sold the business in 2010. Well, let me give you a bit of a backstory. My late husband had a heart transplant, and I'm going to say that again. People don't know heart transplant, not just heart surgery, in 1997. He was very fortunate. He lived 15 years post-transplant. And I always knew that was on borrowed time. When we sold the car rental company and it was time to sell, you get glommed up by the big companies, Hertz and Avis, right, and Dollar and Thrifty. We were a smaller company. I knew I wanted to do something. I had to do something. And I went to a wedding at Las Vegas Country Club. A woman performed the wedding ceremony. So I could do that. Well, I could do that was 2010. And it took me quite a bit of time. I got my license in Las Vegas. Then in 2010, you had to be affiliated with some religious organization. It's changed a bit now to get licensing. And that's how I started it. I was not an overnight success, and I'm still far from it, but I definitely performed quite a few wedding ceremonies. I've done over 5,000 in Vancouver. So I've been blessed. I have been blessed.
Over 5,000 weddings?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. So in terms of, having this business, I mean, obviously there's lots of competition. So what would you say separates you from your competitors?
Well, it's interesting you say that, Dan, because when I started in the business was a male-dominated industry, just like the rent-a-car business was. So I was familiar with that. When I started, same-sex marriages were not legal at the time. However, there were chapels, hotels that were performing same gender, but they had to find the right ministers. You had very staunch ministers. So I actually broke in with becoming, I would walk into the chapel and say, listen, I know you have your own ministers. However, I do perform same gender ceremonies. So that got my foot in the door. And then, of course, I am very flexible with the actual wedding ceremony. A lot of ministers, again, their thinking was a little different then versus now. You have to be open-minded because you have so many different age demographics that are getting married that want things. Who wants a sand ceremony? Who wants a whiskey ceremony? Who wants a wine ceremony? So I've learned to be flexible, listening to the client. And I think that is the big thing, listening to the couple.
That makes sense. So what would you say as of right now is the best way that people find out about you? Obviously, you've been doing this for some time. Probably there's some word of mouth involved, but like how do you really, get your services out there to the public?
Well, and I also have a course. I failed to mention a little bit. I have a course on how to officiate weddings. You know what I do? I work hard with my social media. That I will tell you. I have somebody that helps me, a couple of people that help me with social media because that's a huge platform, as you well know today. And I think what sets me apart is I also make sure I'm monetizing on LinkedIn because I want the professional people which they have money to spend, they get married, they might want a side hustle, they might want a speaker. I also make sure that I'm utilizing that platform. And I think that platform, my field, we think of just Instagram, right? The visual. And of course you have TikTok and you have Facebook. But then again, I like to that as well as blogs and also having just content on your website because your website's your storefront.
So in terms of I think with social media, it's a very interesting thing, right? Because I think that many people are on there. But how do you go from social media to posting content to making sure that the content you're posting is actually helping, you know, create conversions and create customers for you? Because I think that many people are posting content that does not add lots of value, doesn't really convert. So how do you go from actually posting? Are you running ads also? Like where do you really see the success for social media in terms of getting your name out there?
I think that first of all, consistency, and not we all don't have huge budgets, right, to promote ourselves, thousands of dollars. So I think you have to really take the time to do your homework to figure out who your audience is, especially when you're placing an ad. And we test the market. We test the market. For example, notaries actually can perform wedding ceremonies, so we test the market in that area. You try to find whatever your niche is, and sometimes it's a hit or miss. I mean, it's just a wide abyss out there, and really having the right person. I've worked with somebody that has a marketing company that we work on trying to focus and finding the right.
Yeah. So in terms of, I'm just curious, right? Obviously now, people are looking for the best technological tools, right? So what are you using to make sure that you're up to date? I mean, are you using a lot of artificial intelligence, or what does that look like for your business?
Well, actually, it's fabulous. I can tell you. So actually, I just came back from the Cayman Islands. I was invited by David Bucaro, who's a wedding. He's a big, actually not just wedding planner, event planner worldwide. And he invited me to speak in the Caymans about the power of loving your way to the top. So I actually videoed it. I popped it in on an AI video. I had 23 clips in 2 minutes. I mean, highlight, like, how could you not use it? Or I need to write a blog, or I need to take vows and say, I need to write this couple's love story, keep it under 150 words. And they met, playing baseball together, and they had a look. How could you not use it?
No, yeah, that's a good point. But what would you say in general? Like, what is your biggest challenge in this business?
Well, on the officiating side, you need to make sure that you have your pulse on what is going on and what is happening in the wedding when it comes to the wedding ceremony, not necessarily the wedding reception, okay? But you need to have your pulse on that because a couple might come up and say, hey, I want to do so and so. So I keep myself up to date with the trends that are going on by doing research and looking at the forecast, what's changing in the way of wedding ceremonies. For example, some officiants are now to do wedding ceremonies where they're standing with the actual guests, and their back is to the guest, with the guest actually, as if they were an audience member. So I do that. That's the biggest challenge, is you need to be relevant. And that's the biggest thing in this industry, making sure that you're not stuck, that you're moving forward, that you're up to date. That's the key thing. And then on the side for selling, my course, again, being relevant, adding new content, adding just different videos to, make sure they're updated. And then as far as speaking, I listen to a ton of podcasts. I mean, like Ed Milet, Mel Robbins, Amy Porterfield. I mean, I don't know what who you listen to, but I have my go-to.
So, but in terms of scalability, obviously you mentioned your course, but like, what does that look like? Like, what is your vision in terms of, is there like a certain number that you're looking at in terms of reaching it to really make it a successful course? Because I think it's like, especially in your business, when it comes to actual ceremonies, it's just you, right? But when it comes to your course, that's a very scalable thing. So, like, what is your goal with that specifically?
Well, my goal is to sell over 1 million courses. Okay, so as far as and that's why I have developed 3 levels of my course. Somebody that wants a fast track, somebody that wants to spend time looking at videos, and somebody where I can coach. And obviously, it's more cost effective if you're going to just buy the videos. For me, obviously, depending upon how you learn. So you have to be available. So that's my goal, is to sell a bunch of courses and to try to really get out there and network with other content people, or maybe sharing other people's audiences, affiliate marketing, and that is my goal, getting out there. And then a bit, hey, it's not something where you're an overnight success, because my course I developed during COVID. So do you think people wanted to learn how to officiate wedding ceremonies during COVID? No. Now, yes, getting it up. Because what's great about the course is you can learn the fundamentals. You have time, you can add it as a side hustle, or whatever you want to do, you can start it, and then you can start it, and then depending on where you go, your licensing follows you, or it's very easy to get licensed in that state, and some countries as well. That's the beauty of it.
When it comes to people that you're working with in your course, obviously many weddings in the United States are definitely still based on religion, and you might have religious leaders that are working on it. So it's like, are people like that taking your course, or is it more of like general, not non-religious weddings?
Okay, I have to tell you, I have a mixture of both. I have people that are looking for more. Now, you remember, if you're affiliated with certain organizations, churches, they won't buy my course if I offer, because I have same gender. That's the biggest drawback for them. And frankly, that seems to be a dying breed, I think, as we migrate and baby boomers get older, right? We all get older. A lot more of the generations are accepting that. So that's really, those people don't necessarily seek out my course. It's more people that are younger, that have the time, people that are looking maybe to improve their public speaking skills, their presentation skills. This is a great way to have script comfortable. You get comfortable with the microphone, you get comfortable with cameras and video, and they have a passion. They have a passion for it. And mostly, most of them are women. I will say that, the larger demographics at this time. But men make great wedding officiants too, so it's not gender specific.
Yeah, that's true.
Bilingual. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. So, what would you say things will look like if we're going to chat again in 1 year from now? Like, where do you see your business going?
Well, what my goal is and my vision is, I would like to be selling a hell of a lot more courses and doing a less officiating, picking and choosing, because I want to be able to share the skill sets with other people so they can do what I do and have fun doing it. And I know I have the right tools to give them so they can be successful. So I'd like to be able to turn my business model around from, let's say, 80-20, and flip that switch to 20% officiating, 80% getting out there and motivating others.
Awesome. So, what would you say is the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this business?
Actually, I think I wish I was a little bit more savvy when it comes to social media. You have so many different platforms. I come from the world. I was in the car rental business. I was in the car industry too. We had three mediums. We had TV, we had radio, and we had print, right? That's it. Now you've got virtual, and it is huge. And I think you need to, even though you can employ a team of people, you need to be at least a bit savvy and know a little bit about that social media side, and open, like to AI, for example, open to the tools that can help you. Maybe it's HubSpot, maybe it's having Calendly links, whatever it is, constant contact, whatever works for you, you need to be open to that. And it's a lot. It is a lot. And I didn't realize when I started this, it's going to be easy. No, and nothing, nobody's an overnight success. And I think we're all trying hard I was talking to my daughter this morning about this. So everybody wants to become an Amazon influencer and sell, so many products overnight. And that's not what it's about. It's about really honing in your skill set, learning something, and doing research and finding people, because people that know what they're doing, finding the right coaches, finding the right marketing people, social media people, branding to help you.
No, exactly. I think that there's so many options out there. So many people are in this like agency space, like, we're in the space. And I think it's important to really differentiate yourself, be able to understand your clients. I think, and just to your point earlier, right, when it comes to course, when it comes to different things I think that you're doing, it has to be very specific, because selling a course is different than selling, furniture, right? It's a very different thing. So anybody has to understand that business and really how to help them scale.
And what's great about today, which we didn't have years ago, is because we're all utilizing the virtual platforms. You have videos, you have, the different sites where I have my course housed on Thinkific, there's Kajabi, there's so many different platforms, which really makes it easier for people, because a lot of people now are very comfortable with that type of learning, developing their skill. I wasn't comfortable that way, but I'm in my 60s. I'm training people younger than me. That's the difference.
That makes
sense. I didn't
sense.
start doing what I was doing till I was in my middle 50s. So let me tell you something. this was a big leap for me, but this doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, they're talking we might live to be 120. Well, that means I've got at least another 30 more years to go. Well, to hit 132. But why stop? Why stop?
No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I have the same mindset too. I mean, obviously, I'm actually, I'm turning 30 in a month, but it's like for me, but even then, it's like, I don't think about retiring. I mean, many people are like, oh, I don't want to work or whatever. Like for me, it's like, I love what I'm doing. And I think that's important too. It's like, if you're adding value and making a difference, there's definitely something to say to that. And that's actually part of the reason why we even do this podcast. And I was going to ask you, so if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or social media handles? Best way to get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So my easy, Maria at trueloveknots.com. And the knots is knots.com. My website, you can book a call. I call it a virtual espresso. So you have a virtual espresso with me. We'll talk and see if you might want to just, find out more about officiating or motivational speaking. Maybe, as far as performing a wedding ceremony in Las Vegas. And I do travel. I do destination weddings. And that's really my passion, is to do a few destination weddings and to help other people develop a skill set. I was listening to a great podcast this morning, and one of the things that the gentleman said, it wasn't his quote, is that a great leader has vision, and their vision helps people that are dreaming. You need to help people. That's the pattern. You need to be out there to help people, so you can inspire, and they can aspire to be like you. Take action, and that's the thing, is we're here to share our passion.
It's true. Well, anyways, Maria, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. We're rooting for you. Hopefully, you have a great Q4 ahead. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.